Yesterday on First Take, you called for Cathy Engelbert's resignation from her role as WNBA commissioner. When you hear Caitlin Clark there, how does that strike you?
Doesn't strike me at all. Same reaction. Cathy Engelbert should resign as the commissioner of the WNBA.
Ladies and gentlemen, pause for a second because what's unfolding right now is being framed as one of the most dramatic business clashes the league has seen in years. After months of debate surrounding Olympic roster decisions and Rookie of the Year voting, a new controversy has entered the spotlight. Reports circulating online claim that the WNBA league office, under Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, issued a formal warning to Caitlin Clark regarding her reported broadcasting partnership with NBC Universal. According to those claims, the concern centers on a potential conflict of interest issue tied to her media involvement. To be clear, there has been no allegation of wrongdoing, no disciplinary action related to conduct, and no accusation of rule-breaking in the traditional sense. The discussion, as it's being described, revolves around contractual boundaries and league policies, something that can arise when active players enter media partnerships connected to broadcast rights holders. Still, the optics have fueled strong reactions. Clark has been widely credited with driving record-breaking ratings, increased attendance, and major television deals. So when headlines suggest tension between the league and one of its most visible stars over a broadcasting opportunity, it naturally sparks debate. Many fans view her media presence as a positive, expanding the visibility of women's basketball, reaching new audiences, and strengthening the sport's cultural footprint. Prominent sports commentators have weighed in as well, questioning whether such a move, if accurate, would be strategically wise. The argument from that side is simple. When a player brings expanded attention and commercial growth to a league, collaboration often benefits everyone. Others, however, point out that professional leagues operate under strict media rights agreements and collective bargaining rules, and any potential overlap between a player's outside partnerships and league broadcast contracts must be reviewed carefully. At its core, this situation, whether ultimately confirmed or clarified, highlights the evolving power dynamic between leagues and superstar athletes. In today's sports economy, elite players are not just competitors. They are brands, media figures, and business entities in their own right. When those roles intersect with league structures, friction can occur. What happens next will likely depend on negotiations behind closed doors. But one thing is clear: the balance of influence between leagues and transcendent stars is shifting. And moments like this show just how complex that relationship has become in modern professional sports.
And unappreciative of the athletes that represent her league. And then the person I call the golden goose of the WNBA, Caitlin Clark. You understand, who is box office for the WNBA. Just look at the numbers, look at the ratings, look at everything. For her to come out and...
When this story started circulating, it quickly became a lightning rod for debate, especially after commentators like Stephen A. Smith weighed in publicly. On his show, he criticized the reported warning and argued that penalizing or discouraging a player for expanding her visibility through a media partnership would be counterproductive. His broader point was that increased exposure for a star player can translate into increased exposure for the league itself. That perspective centers on a simple marketing principle: visibility fuels growth. If an athlete appears on major national broadcasts, engages broader audiences, and speaks positively about the sport, that can function as indirect promotion. From that viewpoint, a broadcasting opportunity isn't a threat, it's amplification. However, there's another layer to consider. Professional leagues operate under detailed collective bargaining agreements and media rights contracts. Active players signing deals with networks that also hold league rights can create legal gray areas. Conflict of interest reviews aren't uncommon in professional sports. They're often procedural rather than punitive. What may look dramatic publicly could simply be part of compliance discussions happening behind the scenes. Salary comparisons have also become part of the conversation. Clark's reported base WNBA salary, roughly in the mid-five-figure range under the rookie scale, has sparked debate about player compensation relative to revenue growth. It's true that endorsement deals can dwarf league salaries, particularly in women's sports where commercial partnerships often make up the bulk of an athlete's earnings. But league salary structures are negotiated collectively through the Players Association and ownership, and they apply across draft classes, not to individuals alone. The emotional framing online suggests a power struggle. The structural framing suggests contract interpretation. Those are two very different narratives. It's important not to conflate speculation with confirmed intent. There has been no verified public statement indicating hostility, nor confirmed evidence that this is driven by jealousy or locker room pressure. Those interpretations reflect commentary, not documented fact. What is real is the broader tension that emerges when a transcendent star grows faster than the league's existing framework. In modern sports, elite athletes are independent brands with media leverage that can rival the organizations they play for. As that leverage expands, leagues must balance encouraging star power with maintaining contractual consistency. Whether this situation resolves quietly or escalates publicly will likely depend on negotiation rather than confrontation. But one thing is clear: the economics of women's basketball are evolving rapidly, and with that growth comes complicated questions about autonomy, compensation, and control.
I said was that weak-ass response that Kathy Engelberg, I'm going to say it again because people thought I stuttered just there. I don't know how because I don't stutter. Weak-ass comment. I'm going to say it one more time. Weak-ass comeback. That's what she did.
Online chatter has framed this situation as resentment from other players, claims that some feel it's unfair for Clark to take on broadcasting opportunities while they remain focused strictly on team obligations. That narrative suggests pressure on league leadership to treat everyone the same and avoid appearing to grant special exceptions, but it's important to separate speculation from confirmed fact. There is no verified evidence that veteran players demanded discipline or that internal jealousy drove any formal communication. Those interpretations are coming from commentators and social media personalities, not documented league statements. From a governance standpoint, leagues typically enforce uniform contract standards. If questions arise about outside employment, especially involving broadcast partners, they are usually reviewed through compliance departments and legal counsel. That doesn't automatically signal hostility or punishment. It often reflects risk management. The legal comparisons being thrown around, suggesting an inevitable courtroom showdown between a global media conglomerate and a professional league, are dramatic but hypothetical. Major organizations rarely rush into public legal warfare. More often, they negotiate privately, clarify contract language, and adjust terms where necessary. Public brinkmanship makes for viral content, but private resolution is far more common in professional sports. Sponsors add another layer. Companies like Nike, Gatorade, State Farm, and Wilson invest in athletes to expand brand visibility. At the same time, they value stability. Corporate partners generally prefer alignment between leagues and their sponsored athletes, not open conflict. That creates strong incentives for all parties to find workable solutions rather than escalate. The bigger story here isn't rebellion or revolution. It's the growing complexity of modern athlete autonomy. Today's superstars are media personalities, equity partners, entrepreneurs, and global brands. As their influence expands, traditional league frameworks sometimes need updating to keep pace. That adjustment period can create friction, but friction doesn't automatically equal collapse. Calls for boycotts, resignations, or sweeping upheaval may energize online audiences, yet structural change in professional sports tends to happen through negotiation, collective bargaining, and long-term economic shifts, not viral outrage cycles. Caitlin Clark's career trajectory suggests she will continue building her platform regardless. The WNBA, meanwhile, is experiencing increased visibility and financial momentum. Both sides have incentives to maintain stability. The most likely outcome in situations like this is recalibration, clarifying roles, tightening agreements, and moving forward. In fast-growing leagues, moments of tension often signal transition rather than destruction. The real test isn't who blinks publicly, it's whether leadership and star power can align for sustained growth.